You can take the shop, the young mechanic said quietly. Amara's father looked confused. What shop? My repair shop, the man replied calmly. It's yours. Amara felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this meant her father would finally help them. But then the mechanic said something that froze her blood. I don't want money. I want something more valuable. He looked directly at Amara. Give me your daughter's hand in marriage, and the shop is yours. Amara's heart stopped. Dad, please don't do this, she begged. But the next words her father spoke would change her life forever. Deal. Have you ever felt like the world was against you? Like the people who should protect you are the ones who betray you? Because Amara Johnson felt exactly that way the day her own father traded her life for a mechanic shop. But what she didn't know was that the poor mechanic she was forced to marry was hiding a secret that would shock the entire city. Life after her mother died, Amara Johnson used to have a happy life. Her mother was kind, gentle, and always filled the house with warmth. But everything changed the day she passed away. Amara felt like the light in her world had gone out. Her father, Mr. Daniel Johnson, seemed broken too. At least, that's what Amara believed. But she was wrong. Only 2 weeks after the funeral, her father brought home another woman. Her name was Margaret, and she didn't come alone. She brought her daughter Chloe, who was almost the same age as Amara. This is your new mother now, her father said coldly. Amara stared at him in disbelief. But the real nightmare started after that. The house became a prison. Margaret quickly took control of everything. The biggest bedroom, the nicest clothes, the best food. Meanwhile, Amara was treated like a servant. Amara, Margaret would shout from the couch. Yes, ma'am, wash my clothes again. I think I saw a stain. Other times she yelled. Why are you sitting there? Go to the grocery store. Even Chloe joined in the bullying. Move faster, Cinderella, she mocked. Amara worked all day, cooking, cleaning, carrying firewood, running errands. One afternoon, Amara finally broke down. She ran to her father with tears in her eyes. Dad, please, she begged. I'm exhausted. My hands hurt. Can you talk to Margaret? Her father barely looked at her. You're strong, Amara, he said flatly. Just do what she says. I don't want problems in this house. And with that, he walked away. That was the moment Amara realized something painful. Her father had chosen his new family, and she was no longer part of it. The mechanic who changed everything. A few days later, a young man arrived in their small Texas town. His name was Jacob Carter. He was a mechanic with grease on his shirt and worn-out boots. Jacob owned a small repair shop nearby but wanted to move to Dallas for better opportunities. So he went to Amara's father with a proposal. I'm selling my shop, Jacob explained. Margaret's eyes lit up immediately. She had always wanted that property, but there was one problem. They had no money. Then Jacob noticed Amara outside struggling to carry a heavy log. Her clothes were dirty, but even through the dust, she looked kind and gentle. Something about her touched him. I'll make you an offer, Jacob said slowly. You can take the shop. Mr. Johnson leaned forward. What do you want for it? Jacob's voice stayed calm. I don't want money. Everyone waited. I want your daughter. Silence filled the room. Margaret burst out laughing. Take her, she said instantly. She's useless anyway. Amara felt the world spinning. She grabbed her father's arm desperately. Dad, please, don't do this to me. But greed had already taken over. It's a deal, her father said. Sold like property. Amara cried the entire way to the bus station. She had no suitcase, no money, just the clothes she was wearing. Behind her, Margaret and Chloe waved mockingly. Enjoy your life with the broke mechanic, Chloe shouted. Amara didn't look back again. Jacob sat quietly beside her on the crowded bus heading toward Dallas. He didn't say much, but after a while he gently handed her a bottle of water. She was too heartbroken to speak. Their new life. Jacob's house in Dallas was small, very small. Old wooden walls, leaking roof, one thin mattress on the floor. This is my place, Jacob said apologetically. Amara felt her heart sink even lower. Her father had sold her for this, but then Jacob said something unexpected. You won't be a servant here, he promised. You're safe. That night he cooked the last egg he had in the house and gave it all to her. What about you? She asked. I'm not hungry. But his stomach growled loudly, and Amara realized something important. This man may be poor, but he was kind, kinder than her own father. Falling in love. Weeks passed. Jacob worked long hours fixing cars. Amara eventually found a job cooking for a wealthy woman named Victoria Grant. Victoria lived in a massive mansion, luxury cars, private pool, designer jewelry. She paid Amara well. For the first time in months, Amara and Jacob could afford decent food. Despite their struggles, they were happy. Their love grew stronger every day, but their happiness caught someone else's attention. The dangerous obsession. One evening, Jacob came to pick Amara up from work. Victoria saw him standing outside, even covered in engine grease. He was tall, handsome, and confident. Victoria became instantly interested. The next day, she asked Amara casually, "Who was that man yesterday?" "That's my husband," Amara said proudly. Victoria smiled, but something about that smile felt wrong. Soon she started flirting with Jacob whenever he visited the mansion. "You're too handsome to live in poverty," she told him once. "I could give you a much better life." Jacob didn't even hesitate. "I love my wife." Victoria wasn't used to rejection, so she made a shocking offer. She placed a thick stack of cash on the table. "Leave him," she told Amara. "I'll take care of him better than you ever could." Amara looked at the money. It could change everything, but she slowly picked it up, walked over, and dropped it back at Victoria's feet. "My husband isn't for sale." Revenge. Victoria was furious. That same day, she called the garage where Jacob worked. "If you don't fire that mechanic," she threatened, "your business will disappear." The next morning, Jacob lost his job. Soon after, their landlord gave them an eviction notice. They had nowhere to go. But then something unexpected happened. Jacob received an invitation from a wealthy businessman named Mr. Harrison. He was hosting a huge party at the city's most expensive hotel, and he wanted Jacob and Amara to attend. The twist: the ballroom was filled with millionaires. Diamonds sparkled under bright chandeliers. Amara felt completely out of place in her simple dress. Victoria was there too. She laughed when she saw them. "Who let these beggars in?" Amara's heart broke. She started walking toward the exit, but suddenly the announcer's voice echoed through the hall. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man who will take over Harrison Industries, Dr. Michael Harrison." Everyone turned, and the man who walked onto the stage was Jacob, except he wasn't dressed like a mechanic anymore. He was wearing an expensive tailored suit. The room exploded with whispers. Amara stood frozen. Jacob walked directly toward her and knelt down. "I'm sorry for lying," he said softly. "My real name is Michael Harrison. My father owns one of the largest companies in Texas. I pretended to be poor because I wanted to find someone who loved me, not my money." Tears filled Amara's eyes. Michael pulled out a ring. "Will you marry me again? This time for real?" "Yes," she whispered. The final Carmen news about Amara's new life spread quickly. Back in her hometown, her father and step-family heard everything. They rushed to the city hoping to claim part of her wealth, but when they arrived at the mansion gates, security stopped them. "The lady of the house says she doesn't know you." They were turned away, left standing outside with nothing, the same way they had once treated Amara. Ending months later, Amara sat beside Michael in their beautiful garden. She rested a hand on her growing baby bump and smiled. Her life had started in pain, but love had turned everything around. And sometimes the people who look poorest are hiding the greatest treasures. Outro. YouTube call to action. And that's the incredible story of Amara, the girl who was sold for a mechanic shop but ended up finding true love and a life she never imagined. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this one. And remember, sometimes the person standing beside you during your hardest days is the one who truly deserves to share your best ones. See you in the next story.